got the Shabbat, the mitzvah of Shabbat, before they got the Torah. We hear about the Shabbat here in this parasha, where Moses is telling them, listen, collect on Friday, food for Friday and Saturday, because on Saturday, on Shabbat, you're not going to have man. Don't go looking for it. You're not allowed to go looking for it. It's Shabbat, it's the day you rest. So we already got the Shabbat before we got the written Torah in Mount Sinai. This again is another one of the many proofs that the foundation of Judaism cannot exist without its main pillar, which is Shabbat. There's no tshuva without Shabbat. There's no Judaism without Shabbat. There's no connection to Hashem without Shabbat. You could do tefillin 5 times a day. You can pray 24 hours a day. You can learn Torah and know everything by heart. You don't keep Shabbat, it's all worthless. It's bottom line. It's not what I say, this is what God says. Someone could do the 613 mitzvot even though technically you can't do 613 mitzvot because some of them apply to women and you're a guy, or some of them apply to men and you're a woman, or some of them apply to the Bet HaMikdash and we don't have one, some of them apply to the Cohens and you're not a Cohen, so you can't really do 613 mitzvot. So a lot of people are scared of the 613. In reality, you maybe could do 150, 200 at best. But let's just say you found a glitch in the system and you did 612 mitzvot. Except one. And the name of that mitzvah is Shabbat. Worthless. Your 612 are worthless. No share of the world to come. That's what Shabbat is. If that doesn't give you an understanding of what Shabbat is, of how much of a foundation it is, nothing else will. I could tell you about punishments and Gehenom and all that stuff and scare you to death, but it's not going to help. Because if you need to have common sense here. It's not about being scared only. It's about common sense. Without a foundation, nothing can exist. And that's what Shabbat is. That's why we got the Shabbat, and it's mentioned literally in this parasha, before we got the written Torah. And the nation of Israel obviously made a mistake here again. Moses told them, don't go collecting on Shabbat. And a few of them went and tried collecting some manna. Hashem obviously wasn't very happy with them. Moses obviously was not very happy with them. And he tells, God tells to Moses, how long is it going to be, how long will you refuse to observe my commandments and my teachings? That's in verse, it's 16:28. Chapter 16:28. Hashem said to Moses, how long will you refuse to observe my commandments and my teachings? Which is, Lishmor mitzvotai v'toratai. So this thing teaches us a few things. Number one, it teaches us that the mitzvot and the Torah are two separate things. Two, it uses the word Torahs, not Torah. Not singular, it's plural. Why? Because he's referring to both the written Torah and the oral Torah. Some people say, where does it say oral Torah in the Torah? When Hashem refers to the Torah, in many cases during in the Torah, it's referring to Torahs, plural, more than one Torah. Mm-hmm. So if it was just the written Torah, which is what I have in front of me, then it would be Torah, no S. So here, it actually says again, Torahs. So it's more than one. So that's referring to both written and oral Torah. So he's telling you, how long are you going to refuse to observe my commandments, my teachings? I only gave you guys are on the 49th level of Tumah. You're one sin away from being destroyed like the other 80 or 99% that I destroyed. That's why I gave you the manna. Because I needed to purify you. You can't get the Torah unless you become purified. But in order for you to be purified, you can't just eat the food. You can't just eat the manna. You have to do some mitzvot. That's why I gave you some mitzvot. I gave you Rosh Chodesh. I just gave you Shabbat. I gave you a few things to do so you could go down from 49 levels. But now you're already violating the Shabbat. To look for the food that's going to help you, it's like drinking poison and expecting somebody else to die. Doesn't make any sense. How do you think that you're going to look for manna to help you become more spiritual by violating the most spiritual thing that I ever gave you and ever will give you, which is Shabbat? How could you do it? Doesn't make any sense. How long are you going to refuse? Why are they refusing? It's not that because they want to go to war with Hashem, chas v'shalom. They're refusing because they have no Emunah. Same reason why people work on Shabbat. They don't work on Shabbat because they want to go to war with Hashem. Nobody wants to go to war with Hashem. Even the wicked don't want to go to war with Hashem. Only one wicked person that I know of in history, which his name was Titus, actually wanted to go to war with Hashem. He was stupid, so he did it. But normal people don't want to go to war with Hashem. Even if you don't like him, you still don't want to go with him. Even if you don't believe in him, you're still not going to want to do it. If it exists, then you say to yourself, I don't want to go to war. If it exists, I don't want to go to war with him. No one that's logical would ever want to go to war. So people that are violating, whether it's today or 3,000 years ago, or violating the mitzvot, it's not because they want to go to war with him. It's because they don't believe in him. Or they don't know about him. Most Jews know what Shabbat is. Most Jews have heard what Judaism is and what the Torah is. But just because they've heard that there's a day in the week called Shabbat does not mean that they know what it actually means. What's the consequences of not keeping it? I know myself, before I did tshuva, may Hashem forgive me for all my sins, before I did tshuva, I thought that if I don't work on Shabbat, that's enough for my level. Like, I thought that there's levels of keeping it. I figured that, okay, listen, I'm not working on Shabbat. Instead, I'm going to, I don't know, vacation or play cards or do whatever other nonsense I did at that time of my life. So I figured that if I don't work, that's enough. Why? Come on, I don't have to drive and use electricity and watch TV and go to movies and use money, go to restaurants. What's so bad about it? What does Hashem really care if I do all those things? I'm relaxing. That's my relaxation. I go to the casino, I put $30,000 on the table to play Texas Hold'em. That's my relaxation. He said, Shabbat, you're supposed to rest. I'm resting on the poker table. That's my illogical logic. That's the human logic that's flawed. I don't consider myself stupid. But that was my logic. He said, rest, I'm resting. And I'm even resting better if I win a hand, another 30,000. It's more fun for me. So I'm thinking that I'm not necessarily a tzaddik, but I'm not wicked. I'm not an enemy of Hashem. My prayers will still be answered. I could still be counted in the minyan. I was wrong about all of it. Violate Shabbat, you can't be counted in the minyan. Violate Shabbat, your prayers will not be answered. Violate Shabbat, you are an enemy of Hashem. This is Torah saying, not me. Obviously Hashem keeps you in this world because He doesn't want you to be His enemy. Didn't want me to continue being His enemy. He knew my potential. He knew that I could potentially keep Shabbat at some point or another. Even though He had to put me through my own version of Gehinnom to get to that point, but nonetheless, I got there. Everyone else that's watching this, that's here, that hasn't gotten there, can get there, can get better, much higher levels than I ever can. It's not that hard. It's just fighting the Yetzer Hara. The question is, how stubborn are we? How much of a Kshei Oref nation are we? If we're a stubborn, stiff-necked nation, then we have to go through Egypt in order to do tshuva. But if we're wise people, we just follow the instructions. and have Emunah that it's all going to work out and He's going to fight our wars. When you pay attention to His details, you're going to be scared of Him. When you're scared of Him, that's already a very high level of tshuva. Very high level. I wish that we could truly be scared of Hashem, like we are scared of mankind. No one's scared of Hashem like they are scared of mankind. Hashem, you violate one of His major mitzvot, you don't cry even for 1 second about it. A cop pulls you over, oh, you're going to cry for a week because he gave you a $300 ticket. That's reality. Before he even pulled you over, you're already scared that maybe he's going to turn the light. Every time somebody passes a cop, they always look in the mirror. Is he going to pull me over? He's going to pull me over. I drove 70 on a 60. I'm not sure. Everybody's scared of this cop. Nobody's scared of Hashem. So if we're scared of Him, then we can believe in Him. If we believe in Him, then we're going to listen to the teachings. If we listen to the teachings, then we can sing. At the end of this parasha,